Hi, and welcome to Life Changing Solutions live show. Today we have a very special guest. He is my mentor and a friend, Dr. Ray Blanchard. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Angie. Wonderful.
So, just to kind of catch you up and the rest of the audience, what Life Changing Solutions is about, what I do is different segments on personal development, and I try to have guests on that can leave little nuggets to pass on to those that are watching. And you have, about 40 years of experience in this field?
Yes, I don't want to date myself, but yes.
I'm sorry. But I know it's dating yourself, but honestly, I feel, and it's maybe because I'm honored to have you as a mentor, that, there's so much knowledge and experience within your background that I personally boast about it. So if you could just kind of talk a little bit about that, about your background and how this came to be.
Well, by the way, congratulations on your show, and I welcome the audience, and hopefully we will share some things with them that will inspire them. But my background, basically, I started many years ago when I was in the university studying philosophy. I started in pre-med and morphed into philosophy like many college students would do. But I happened to come across a great professor who was teaching Gestalt therapy workshops, and that fired me up. I went on a journey, so to speak, to Oregon, California, and spent some time in Esalen Institute, where I met some great masters, Michael Murphy, who had just been studying in India with Sri Aurobindo, and George Leonard, who was an Aikido master. So I became very interested in the relationship between the Eastern world and the Western world. And I was in traditional psychotherapy at the time, and I wanted to bridge the East and West. And the messages that came out of all of that changed my life forever. And my journey through the university and thereafter is all history now. But my life completely altered as a result of those interventions into my world.
And that's something that you and I both share, is our background in therapy, psychotherapy, and transitioning into personal development and different trainings and workshops. I get asked quite frequently what the difference is and why would I want to do that. And so I'm asking you that, like, what, in your opinion, is the difference between psychotherapy and personal development? And what made you transition into that?
Well, psychotherapy oftentimes is about fixing something that's broken, or working with people who've had dramatically traumatic incidents or experiences in life that make them less functional than they would want to be. So you're actually bringing people forward from a background of less than optimal functioning. And the thing about the human potential, the human development, personal development work isn't about that. It's about looking forward. It's about vision. It's about where do you want to go and who do you want to be and how will you get there. So it's a major shift. And I saw that dramatically in the first couple of seminars that I attended in what we call experiential learning. I was amazed by how, by participating actively in an elevated concept, an elevated experience, how people progressed and moved so rapidly, and their retention ability and the ability to apply it to their lives and alter their lives in a very proactive way seemed to work. And I loved it. I fell in love with it.
I can definitely agree to that. I remember attending, my very first experiential training, and after I saw the results not in myself and in others, I realized, from a professional standpoint, that these results were so immediate and so much quicker, and they were getting this done in a matter of a weekend, because most of these trainings are, weekend trainings, and that was so much more than I could accomplish as a therapist in a year.
Oh, wow. You just said exactly what I was thinking. I saw in a weekend movement that more than I could have with my clients in a weekly sessions, hourly sessions each week in a year. And it was so dramatic that I could not deny that. And I was forever engaged and involved and wanted to make that my life because it fit right into the paradigm that I was learning, which is a way of bridging the Eastern thinking with the Western thinking, and the experiential work seemed to have that. And it was easy because it gave people an intellectual foundation, but it matched it up with experiences that were fun and joyful and high learning, and what we call now accelerated learning techniques. So people accelerated so fast and was so much more fun. And the applicability was what also got me, is you could quickly and easily apply it into your life, like right away, and see results right away. And that, being a results-oriented person, that fascinated me. And I was taken by that.
Oh, and as I said, I completely agree, and that's one of the many reasons why I transitioned from therapy into personal development. But also, since then, you've developed and created, other programs and workshops. I believe one of them is the Hero's Quest.
Yes.
In the next segment here, we're going to go in depth with it, but could you also speak into any other things that you have developed, or what your takeaway of the work really is or has been?
Well, given that I've been in the work for over 40 years and working worldwide, I've seen the world and experienced so many other cultures that I decided to blend all of the learnings and wisdoms I received from other cultures into an eclectic model, in which I think the main idea of it is, rather than gaining relief for your life, to invest in your life. And that really allows people to be proactive in their own learning and in their own growth. And that affects their relationships, their communities, and it helps them to develop the kind of character that they want to develop, so that they can be more successful in any walk of life, so that this work becomes useful to anyone, from the most successful to the least successful, and from the employee to the entrepreneur. So it's really applicable to all of that. But the idea is to invest in yourself and invest in your community, invest in your business. So the work that I've done is to develop training programs for a number of different cities and centers around different cities, and help them implement them into their communities. And the other work that I do is I work with communities in Africa and other places to develop their communities, and having people become more self-sustaining and self-sufficient. And the work in the Heroes Circle and the Heroes Quest, we'll talk about later, is sustainability work after you've gone through a number of different experiences in personal development, how to sustain that and grow and thrive from that.
Well, that's pretty much it for this segment. I really do appreciate you being here. And to the audience, please join us for our next segment, where we're going to speak about the Hero's Quest, and Dr. Ray Blanchard will be with us. So stay tuned.